Welcome to our 2016 Christmas for Christ DVD. This is the golden anniversary. 50 years ago, Christmas for Christ began in Madison, Wisconsin. Pastor Jack Yantz in 1966 felt that it was wrong to spend so much of their money at Christmas time on themselves. So he decided that he was going to take a home missionary, Jack Lehman, and invite him to come and preach on a Sunday in his church. After the service was over, he gave a liberal offering to Pastor Lehman and took him out to dinner. The next day, he woke up and took him to a garage and bought him a set of tires. Pastor Lehman asked, "Why are you doing all this for me?" And he said, "Because I believe that Christmas for Christ should be about giving and not about receiving." With that in mind, we are going to take you to Madison, Wisconsin, and Pastor Roy Grant and Bishop John Grant will share with you what Christmas for Christ has meant for them in Madison, Wisconsin. This is their story, and they're sticking to it.
Sister Grant and I became the first Christmas for Christ missionaries here in Wisconsin. Brother J.R. Blackshear was our home missions director, and he talked with me about Christmas for Christ. I'd never heard of Christmas for Christ. He somehow got an application, and I filled it out. So we met with the home missions board, and Brother Pugh was the director. And they just asked quite a few questions. Of course, I had started 2 other churches, and they had already contacted the districts in which I had worked, and they know when you get in there what kind of a man you are and what you've done. So it was not a lengthy meeting, but it was quite serious. And of course, me not ever having met a board like that, I was a little nervous. But when I left, I knew already that I had been appointed because they told me that. Brother J.T. Pugh had a plan for every missionary, and he wanted us to knock 1,000 doors a month, and that I did. So we built 3 churches in 10 years.
You know, we had struggled for a number of years here just trying to take and come up with a building plan and a design to accommodate the growth of the church, because the church had grown. We've grown quite considerably since 1995. 1997 is when things really kind of started to pick up here. And we knew that we were in this transitional period. And so I went to General Conference. I said, "Lord, I need some answers." And they had the first year that they had those sessions that you could attend, and every session I attended was either they talked about daughter works, preaching points, and how to start them, how to maintain them, how to fund them. And so every question that I had, literally after the first day of sessions, those questions were answered, and I just believe it was just I know it was a God thing. And I came home and shared that information. I said, you know, Dad, this is kind of what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, and he encouraged me to bring this to our congregation. So that was in November, 3 years back in November, and we talked to the church about it, and I gave it a title, an initiative. We called it Mission 2025. And what we were looking to do was start 15 churches in the Dane County area by the year of 2025. So right now, we have 7 churches, preaching points. We have basically a evangelism team that supports those preaching points so that those people are not going to that area just by themselves. We had a preaching point on the west side that started out as a daughter work, and this January of this year they became autonomous. And when that one dropped off, we picked up another one and started another one in Poinette, Wisconsin. It takes money to do all of this, and although Calvary Gospel Church doesn't draw Christmas for Christ, we provide funds as a mother church for these preaching points. And then once they make that step to become autonomous, that's when Christmas for Christ steps in. Another great thing with Christmas for Christ is Christmas for Christ, they not only just provide work for the pastor as far as funds for the church, but it's such a big thing. I know when we were growing up, I didn't understand what Christmas for Christ was, but I knew what it was like to go to camp. So as a young person growing up, I enjoyed the camps and the youth conventions and things like that. And Christmas for Christ takes the burden off of a lot of the pastors, because if you're looking at it as a pastor, because I know my dad many times had to make this decision: do we go to camp, do we go to conference, or do we pay bills for the next month? So for us, a lot of times it was nice to be able to take and go to conference. It was nice to be able to go to camp. It was nice to be able to have that time where that we could go to a minister's retreat and things like that. I think it's great that Christmas for Christ,
Yes.
is able to take and help in that area for our pastors and our ministry family.
I just want to encourage all of you, get behind Christmas for Christ. This is the lifeline of our home missions department.
We currently have 8 home missionaries that are counting on us and on our support. The funds that you give are taking care of these missionaries. Our Christmas for Christ date this year is December the 18th. We thank you for your faithfulness over the years and anticipate a record offering from Wisconsin this year. Thank you, and God bless you for all you do for our Wisconsin home missionaries. Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year.